the Independent Broadcasting Authority, IBA? Here's how. Write to the station via post, email, or fax stating what grievances you have against the broadcast. State when the broadcast took place, state who the broadcaster was, state your name and contact details for further communication by the broadcaster. Upon communication with the station, it is expected that the station will respond to the complaint within 14 days. Where you have not received a response or have received a response within 14 days but consider the response to be inadequate, you can address your complaint to the Director General, Independent Broadcasting Authority, Mass Media Complex, Ali Kinkata Road, P.O. Box 32475 Lusaka, or call 0211-250-589. or email complaints@iba.org.zm or visit our website www.iba.org.zm.
The Independent Broadcasting Authority, promoting a pluralistic broadcasting industry in Zambia through fair, transparent, and effective regulation.
If you don't feel like your TV is TVing, it's because you're missing that ing. That ing. You know that ing you get when you're watching amazing TV? That's exciting, enticing, surprising, and everything in between. That ing you get when you're pressing play, binging, and blockbustering. The ing you get when you're DSTVing.
Now that's a way to make an entrance.
Get that ing with all sorts of packages to match your with DSTV.
On social media, like our Facebook page, Oblate Radio Liseli, and get updated with the latest news and current affairs. Oblate Radio Liseli, spreading the light of Christ.
Tomorrow, watch it in the evening and hear it now on Oblate Radio.
Good afternoon and welcome. You are listening to Oblate Radio Liseli, spreading the light of Christ. With the main afternoon news, I am Trusty Limpo Samutumwa. Coming up in the news. Inspection of 2025-2026 farming inputs, flags of at NCZ. Elutewat cash for work beneficiaries are paid. Rise of local coaches shows change in African football. These and many other stories, but first we hear from the church. The Jubilee of the Youth Zambia under the Catholic Youth Ministry has commenced in Lusaka. And this morning, the youth attended the Youth Mass of the Jubilee year, which was celebrated by Reverend Father Cornelius Chibamba. And in his homily, Reverend Father Chibamba emphasized on the need for the youth to be proactive in their work for the church based on the theme, Pilgrims of the Journey Anchored on Christ.
We've already given an example from our Pope to be people who are peaceful. We've already given the example of the Pope to be people who are active in the mission. So you and I are anchored in Christ. We want to see the fruits. We want to see Christ in you, especially as youths, especially as future leaders. We want to see youths who give us the confidence, who gives us the hope of tomorrow. We don't want to see youths who are hopeless, youths who have no confidence. It is my prayer as we celebrate this Mass, as we celebrate Jubilee, that we become youths who are confident and youths who are full of hope as we are passing. Give us that hope that the Catholic Church will continue. Give us that hope that the society of tomorrow will be better. Why? Because we have got youths who are knowledgeable, we have got youths who are hardworking, we have got youths who are hopeful. And actually, as a Christian, the last thing that you need to lose is hope. So be confident, be people who are full of hope, be people who shows us that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
The celebration that ran from today to 5th September 2025 at St. Joseph Center, Braston, Lilanda, with youths from all 3 ecclesiastical provinces and 9 suffrage dioceses of Zambia will gather. Activities lined up for this event is choir festivals, where the youths will present 3 songs, a potential thanking and a jubilee song, sacrament of confession, and presentations of awards. A combined team from the National Quality Institutions has commenced the joint inspection of farming inputs for the 2025-2026 farming season. Commerce, Trade and Industry Acting Permanent Secretary Angelina Mukuka says the team, comprising officers from the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, the Zambia Compulsory Standards Agency, ZCSA, and the Zambia Meteorology Agency, ZMA, aims to safeguard the integrity of farming inputs and protect the Zambian farmers. Speaking during the flagging off of the inspections at Nitrogen Chemicals of Zambia, NCZ, in Kafiwe, Ms. Mukuka reaffirmed government's commitment of ensuring that farmers receive quality inputs that are safe, correctly labeled, properly measured, and effective for agricultural production.
Today's joint inspection flag-off is therefore not just symbolic. It marks the beginning of rigorous inspections that will be conducted nationwide. Non-compliant product, whether fake, expired, or substandard, will continue to be seized and withdrawn from the market. This is not a punitive action, but a necessary safeguard for farmers, consumers, and our environment.
And ZMA Executive Director Humphrey Nkombeni says the joint inspection initiative helps to ensure that farming inputs supplied to farmers are compliant, authentic, safe, and of the right quality and quantity.
I wish to appeal to farmers and consumers to buy fertilizer and other farming inputs from recognized, regulated, and reputable outlets or distributors for them to be assured of a good crop yield.
Meanwhile, NCZ Chief Executive Officer Chanda Mongo says the company's operations strictly adhere to the high standards set by the various statutory bodies in ensuring that their products delivered to farmers is of uncompromising quality and meet the needs of the farmer.
Actions will even be more extensive, covering every province with a stronger focus on ensuring that product quality and quantity is guaranteed, preventing the sale of fake or expired inputs, and holding accountable those that compromise the quality and quantity integrity of the inputs into the agricultural value chain.
The country is preparing for the next farming season, and government and agricultural stakeholders are working to ensure farmers receive quality inputs. And in a related development, Agricultural Minister Ruben Mtolo has reaffirmed the government's commitment to transforming Zambia's rice sector into a competitive and sustainable industry. In a speech read for him by Acting Permanent Secretary for Administration, Lemi Kafwamfwa, during the knowledge sharing workshop for the market-oriented rice development project in Lusaka, Mr. Mtolo reaffirmed that Zambia remains dedicated to the Coalition African Rice Development Phase 2 target of doubling rice production by 2030. He observes that the demand for rice continues to rise in the country, which presents an opportunity for it to become not just an alternative stable, but also a profitable cash crop for smallholder farmers. According to News and Information Service, Mr. Mtolo has also applauded the Japanese government through Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, for the long-standing partnership with Zambia in rice development, evidenced in the implementation of various projects.
This commitment is not only about quantity. It includes developing a competitive and sustainable rice value chain. Today, as we share knowledge and results from across the implementing provinces, it is encouraging to note that farmers under model have adopted improved rice farming techniques, resulting in higher yields.
And the JICA Acting Chief Representative Keita Izumi says Japan remains committed to supporting Zambia's rice sector.
JICA remains committed to supporting Zambia's rice sector. Strong partnerships with among us, like collective collaborative approach is essential. We need to identify suitable technology for each rice ecology. Number two indicators, identify rice varieties suitable for each ecology.
Rice production is reported to have declined over the years, mainly due to climate change, driving the country to export rice from neighboring countries. The cash for work beneficiaries in Ilute Ward in Mongo district have received their payment this week, following concerns raised during last week's episode of Oblate Radio Liseli's governance program, Amobuze. Speaking to Oblate Radio Liseli News, one of the participants of the governance program and the beneficiary Augustine Mwanambuyu disclosed that the beneficiaries received their payments as of Tuesday, 2nd September 2025. Mr. Mwanambuyu has since commended the Mongo Municipal Council for quickly responding to the concerns of the people, urging their council to emulate what Mongo Municipal Council has done. He has further expressed gratitude to Oblate Radio Liseli station for providing a platform for the cash for work beneficiaries to voice out their concerns.
Kwa maranaka sifoweki amungu centro nirute itumela batu bamwezi mashirengi na itumela wakansela mungu kuzafatini makansela na itumela kumila kawafela nibata kukupa kupochwala kuli kumila makansela basafiri batu bamila mashirengi kabundako amwezi ngobaza wakansela mungu bamukutokwalela twale.
Meanwhile, Western Province Labor Officer Ivan Sisianga recently urged the beneficiaries of the Cash for Work program to always engage his office if they are not paid on time. And now news from the court. A former Foreign Affairs Minister, Joseph Malanji, has been convicted on counts 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10 in the high-profile corruption trial relating to the illegal acquisition of luxury properties and aircrafting using suspected proceeds of crime. Magistrate Irene Wishimanga, delivering judgment at the Lusaka Magistrate Court, found Malanji guilty of multiple offences, including possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime, money laundering involving high-value real estate and aircraft, use of third-party companies to conceal ownership of assets, and he is convicted on helicopter property and money laundering counts. The purchase of 2 helicopters, a Bell 430 and a Bell 206 Jet Ranger, which were registered under Gibson Air Charters, a company linked to Malanji. Acquisition of multiple houses in Lusaka's upmarket, Silverest Gardens, and other locations, financed through cash transactions and dollar payments, inconsistent with Malanji's known income as a public officer. Use of misleading documents to justify the sources of funds, including fictions, mining, and construction deals in the DRC and China. The court ruled that Malanji failed to provide a lawful explanation for the source of the funds used in the acquisitions and found that the transactions were structured to disguise the origin and ownership of illicit funds. Meanwhile, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has found former Secretary to the Treasury, Fredson Yamba, and the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Joe Malanji, guilty on 2 counts of no failure to comply with the laid down procedures, and on 2 counts of 8 counts of possessing property deemed to be proceeds of crime. Judgment in the Malanji and Yamba case has been adjourned to tomorrow for judgment. Residents of Western Province have paid tribute to Inonge Mutukwawina, Zambia's first female vice president and former member of parliament for Nalolo, celebrating her lasting impact on the region. Speaking on Oblate Radio Liseli News this morning, Light Breakfast Show, during the Woman Crush segment, committee member reflected on Mrs. Winner's dedication and tireless service throughout her time in office. Many highlighted her commitment to improving essential services, particularly in Nalolo district.
Monaco ene bakalile misebezi yeme no siyo kwa teni manelo trofu mana inge basabele karuna wabanyinyani kamu kwa ocholo rufitafela bwitumero wakuli bakonele kuba batu babelekezi na ukena mani mo misebezi bituna kuyemelana kutusa babanja ni babayinyani mwala misebezi yabona bitumero kubushali mulu weno ngewina ngamushele program yabona uparishe yabona bakonele kweza uyimane babashije nibona bayitakaleze kubona mushali mulu tofazamera kale kiyo ni politics kabona hakuri seri muzama ishe mitezi shera mushikuri wabayinyani kama bali mu politics kafela seri nani zaeza ifanya kumufuteza ukiro wa haiko uya kile kona kutikisa wa mbasali undume wakweza kuli nibona basali wakona kweza chani wakona kuitatira mangoma echo halo ndio ne baitateza kayona ubona kona kuli kitu tetu na kwa basali kafera kuli abaiza Afrika ayi banje kunazo bakona kulwanira kabundume wo chalo.
And Mandu Akabio, a resident of Nalolo, praised Mrs. Winner's transformative role in the education sector. He noted her efforts in facilitating the construction of schools and ensuring they were electrified, enabling pupils to learn in a more conducive environment Her legacy will be felt for generation, he said.
For 1964, I was about 15 years Abalunga independence. Vasaliva, Luvaziva, in and out. Baba bavulela kuli bayizize imisebenzi yeminata kaniti mwanalolo nisikena vulela piliza kusili mwanalolo nitukolo tono tusintu no litusa katumbalambala kuvala vuka nelikulu litusa tumbalambala ekolo mungata ifumani malaiti lonani ni boarding school mwabuse mwani yefelile kono kimuuso osala tifela kukwalula Ngata zeva izize Anderson Mazoka lunyandile nibona she was the first lady mwabulozi kufumana zipula samwe mupima UPND zikazeva izize zeva beze izize mwana moneva sata ni wasa bakweza kufa komenti yemu yaka kona kufa apati na mulimu yapa ngeli fasile kuluwa alunu ile katenu le kuli Zambia education in the country basali
Inonga Wina served as vice president from 2015 to 2021 and remains a revered figure across Western Province and beyond, remembered for her leadership, resilience and unwavering commitment to public service. The Anti-Corruption Commission ACC is currently drafting a mandatory declaration of assets, a bill designed to expose unethical conduct and promote integrity within public service. ACC Director General Rafen Chabu states that the proposed legislation will apply to all public officers and is intended to enhance transparency through regular audits of conduct and lifestyle. She emphasized that the bill will also address issues surrounding wealth accumulation among officials and will be made available to stakeholders for review and public debate. And Executive Director of the Action Governance Forum, Justin Mushoke, has welcomed the initiative, describing it as a vital step towards ensuring transparency and accountability in how senior government officials acquire their assets. Speaking to Oblate Radio Liseli News, Mr. Mushoke added that the bill could help reduce unnecessary investigations into public officials by establishing clear standards and expectations.
So they're coming up with this bill. It will really help in terms of ensuring that senior government officials do their work within the confines of the law, so that it will help them to ensure that they are not implicated in any way. And it's something that needs to be done so that it is publicized both to the senior government officials and also to the members of the public to be aware of the bill, so that they are able to remind these government officials that they are supposed to operate within a certain limits, not to go beyond that, because it's something that is going to help in terms of trying to ensure that the resources are protected. As we are aware that most of the cases that have been in the course of law are the result of abuse of resources. So with the coming of this bill, it will really help in terms of trying to reduce these cases and also make sure that government officials become responsible when it comes to the utilization of public resources that are needed to ensure that service delivery is achieved, and something that needs to be done urgently without wasting much of our time.
And finally, in sports, as African qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup reaches its conclusion over the next 6 weeks, a growing cadre of homegrown coaches are under the microscope. Heading into the September international window, 24 of the 53 main sides on the continent ranked by World Governing Body FIFA have an African coach. And in a new wave of faith in the competence of local talent, even when African nations look outside their borders, they are increasingly determined to appoint from within the continent. According to BBC Sports, Milian Eric Chele and South African Benny McCarthy, in charge of Nigeria and Kenya respectively, are the standout examples, where Libya appointed a former Senegal boss LOCs with their much fanfare on air contract that reportedly made him the second highest paid African coach in history. The backing for African coaches don't when Algeria beats Senegal in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations final, with both nations led by homegrown legends. Football now is universal, and race, color, or nationality doesn't make a difference. It's all now about quantities and competence. As we end the news, a recap of the headlines again. Inspection of 2025-2026 farming inputs flags off at NCZ. Elute award cash for work beneficiaries are paid. Rise of local coaches shows change in African football. That ends the main afternoon news. If you want to share a news or comment on our stories, you can call or WhatsApp on the number 0955-221641. I am Trustin Posamtuma, Oblate Radio Liseli, spreading the light of Christ. Good afternoon.